Hello and welcome. I am Scriverlock and this is City of Heroes on the private server Everlasting. We are with Silver Phoenix, our level 40 superhero who's a martial arts scrapper, and we are working on, and I think close to the end of, the Path to Darkness story arc. We are here to recover the Shadow Seed, which is the thing that's going to help them start a new chapter of the Darkness faction here in Paragon City. Now, what I've done is I have dropped the mission level back to +1. The contact was very emphatic that you probably will need a team to take care of this. So I thought we're just asking for trouble if we make it. This is probably going to be an elite boss, right? When it probably was an arch villain before, it'll be an elite boss now because we're on no AVs, right, for solo. But if it's an elite boss and we're at +3, it could be up to a +4 elite boss. Depending on what kind of an elite boss it has, that could be almost impossible to completely undoable for this character. So what we're going to have to do, oh gosh, I got to sell salvage again. What we're going to have to do is try it on the lower level. Unfortunately, it may make the rest of the mission completely too easy for us. I hope that's not the case, but we'll just have to see what happens. Hopefully it'll be an entertaining mission either way. We're in a warehouse, so that means it's a single level. It doesn't look too big. Dark corners of the warehouse seem stronger somehow. At the edges of the shadow, in the corner of your vision, the Shadow Seed must be close. So I'm guessing this is going to be an arch villain that we have to fight. Unfortunately, it's not respecting the +1 request, and we've got +0, so this is going to be like stupidly easy until we get to the Shadow Seed. This is actually one of the things I used to complain about in live. When you couldn't set the difficulty, right? And to some degree it's happening even though I can, but when you couldn't set the difficulty, one of the things I used to complain about is you'd go, the whole rest of the mission would be stupidly easy, and then you get to the guy at the end and you couldn't beat him. And it's like everything else in the mission is a waste of my time, right? But then I get to the guy at the end and I can't defeat him. In other words, it shouldn't be the range of difficulty in a single mission shouldn't be that wide. From, you know, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being completely impossible, 5 being almost impossible, you know, and 1 being super easy, it shouldn't go from 1 to 10 like that. At least that was my argument back then. Now, of course, we have difficulty levels, but it's still causing the problem that if there's going to be an elite boss in the mission, I can't necessarily do +3s, especially since sometimes with +3 missions it gives me +4s. That's a defense robot? Yeah, that's nothing. So did we get anything? Okay, crate is empty, okay. Yeah, I mean these guys are going to go down so fast. So perhaps one of the reasons it said that you should bring a group is because there were multiple bosses. This guy is right now +0, so if we added, he would be a level 42 or 43 boss, it'd be no problem for me. I just don't know. I was guessing that we were going to fight an elite boss that was basically a slightly downgraded version of an arch villain. So the other thing that's true is the arch villains, so the Shadow Seed missing, careful packaging, and lingering darkness. This is likely where the Shadow Seed might have once been, but is now gone. So there are two kinds of elite bosses. There are elite bosses that were built for being elite bosses after elite bosses were put into the game. Right? Elite bosses are not original to the game. What used to happen is you would fight bosses, or if the villain called for it, if the mission called for it, you'd fight an arch villain, right? And then what happened was, when they included mission difficulty, they gave you the option, I think in fact it did it for you, if you were solo, it would downgrade the arch villain to an elite boss. And that made it solo difficult, but very difficult, but soloable. And so many of the elite bosses are just an arch villain with less hit points and lower regeneration rates than the arch villains have, right? But then after they did that, they, I don't really need this many Lux, actually. After they did that, and created elite bosses as a rank of villains, then what they started doing was when they made new missions, they would include elite bosses. You know, they like made it explicitly made an elite boss version, and sometimes that's all the mission has, even if you're in a group. And so if it's an elite boss that was meant to be an elite boss and not an archvillain, it tends to be easier to take out than a downgraded archvillain. It's almost like an archvillain that's been turned into elite boss is almost like an elite boss plus, compared to an elite boss that was programmed that way from the beginning. So this thing is going to be an elite boss plus if there's an elite boss in here. And I don't know if this is the mission with the elite boss or not. But if it is, these things are cool, by the way. If it is, then it will be quite tough. Right, and that's, so a great example of that is the Envoy of Shadows. We fought other elite bosses before that were meant to be elite bosses, like the one in Fault Line, right, where it was some sort of a Night Widow, and we defeated her pretty easily, right? She was programmed to be an elite boss, but the Envoy of Shadows, which I couldn't beat, the Envoy of Shadows was meant to be an archvillain, so he's just a slightly weakened version of the archvillain, and that means that he's actually a very strong elite boss. Now I gotta watch out because there's guys back there. But it looks like it may be that this mission was said that you need to group just because it's multiple bosses. But notice, even on +1, that boss is red to us, right? If he had been like a +3 boss, he would have been deeply purple. Wow, look at all these glowies to click on. We're not finding anything, though. Because I think the thing we found is all there is to find, but I may be wrong. Alright, so now, take this guy out. Now notice at this level, when we're only fighting +0s and +1s, there's really no need for me to worry about like what order I take them out in. At this point, it doesn't matter whether they hit the boss first or the lieutenant first or whatever, it just doesn't matter, because they're just so much weaker than we are. And we can do so much more than they can do that it just doesn't even matter. And that's one of the reasons for increasing the difficulty level, right? Because you want it to matter. You want to have to think about who you punch first. And you don't have to think about that if they're all whites and yellows. At this level with a scrapper. Now, at higher levels, or at lower levels, you do, you know, whether you're a scrap or not, and even at this level with a controller or something, you might have to think about it more. These guys are a pain. Wow, look how fast he goes. Yeah, he's trying to pull me. Doesn't work too well with me, buddy. Alright. So yeah, this hasn't been any real challenge, unfortunately. I'm hoping the Shadow Seed will actually be in here. If it is an archvillain, it will be purple. It'll be +0, +1 to us, and that'll be enough. Or not an archvillain, elite boss. An elite boss, an even level or slightly, you know, +1 elite boss is usually fine in terms of the difficulty challenge, the difficulty level, the challenge level. But you can see this stuff is way too easy. Look how fast we took out that spawn. I hear somebody. That's just an Archon. So, unfortunately, we didn't fight the Shadow Seed in here. That's a shame. So I'm not sure why it thought I needed multiple teammates for this. Right, remember when that dialogue was written, these guys were white cons, maybe yellows. This mission would have been +0 and not adjustable, because in the original game you couldn't adjust levels, notoriety, etc. So, and I'm fairly certain that this was put into the game before you could do that. So, I don't know. Like, why would you think that this wouldn't be soloable? It's just bosses. There have been lots of other missions with bosses where it didn't warn me that it wasn't soloable. What are you doing? You're just running away? Oh, how interesting. So he turned into a werewolf. I forgot they could do that. Wow, okay, now you're actually giving me a challenge. How are you hitting me so well? You're only an orange boss. Wow, this guy hit me a lot. What's his chance? 6%. And he hit me that many times. Wow. Defeat Rocco. Well, where the heck is Rocco? Was that the Archon? I didn't even notice. I saw his name was Archon, and I didn't pay a lot of attention. Recover the seed. Empty. I missed something. Come on already. A yellow con? How are you still up? That's that. Clue found. Shadow Seed delivered. You are too late. Archon, Bacco, okay. We knew you were onto us, and this is but a distraction. The seed is even now being implanted deep beneath the ground. Soon it will grow and the council will conquer. Okay, so that's not good. This was a decoy. Let's call our contact. She says we missed it. How could that be? If they can plant that thing, then there would be no stopping the Council and the Path of the Dark. It's not over yet, Silver Phoenix. I don't know how, but I'll find some way to locate the Shadow Seed. We got 3 enhancements. See that? We got 3 enhancements on one mission. We got these 3 on like 3 episodes, like 6 missions total. Okay. We'll need all the allies and supplies and luck we can get, she says again. You aren't going to believe this, but I know where you can find the Shadow Seed and stop the Council's plan. Do you remember Bentley Berkeley? Yep. The immortal guy who fought the Path of the Dark in the 1920s? Well, after you rescued him, he kept following the case. He's there, now, deep underground, where the Council has the seed. I can give you this last location the moment you're ready. Okay, so we're going to take it. What are the odds Ulir is Bentley Berkeley? I just have a feeling. Should we not bother? Let's not bother with this. Let's go to Ouroboros. Oh, wait. Ambush. Okay. Anybody else? Any other fools? Alright. I just didn't feel like hopping all the way across Independence Port. So we can go straight to Alice Park. And that will get us to Perez Park. Lots of zone hopping. So Perez Park. Can never remember which one it is. That's Hollows. Perez Park is over there. So one of the things I wanted to actually talk about is I was chatting with some of my supergroup mates, and they were talking about things, and somebody made a typo. He talked about lorelets, and I was like, what's a lorelet? He meant, oh, I mean lore pets. Lore pets. Like, okay. Well, I understand what the term means. Pets are usually creatures that your character can summon. Like if you're a mastermind, you can summon a wolf or something. And you can have the pet attack villains and so forth. We even have one. If you go to number 4 here, we have the Warwolf whistle. I can summon 2 of them. I used it once. I think it was against the Envoy of Shadows, perhaps, where it just kept owning me, and so finally I pulled out a Warwolf and said, all right, well, and what you do is you throw the pet in, and the pet acts as a meat shield. It absorbs some damage for you, soaks up some damage, so that you get a few free shots before you start taking a pounding from the Envoy. And so, that works fine. I feel a little embarrassed that I had to use one as a scrapper. I feel like you shouldn't need any help at all because you're a scrapper. So unless you're talking about an actual arch-villain, you should be able to solo anything. And at this level, we almost can, within reason, right? We're not necessarily going to be able to solo a +4 elite boss, but we can solo a +0 or +1 elite boss with no problem. Now I'm going to have to find the entrance here. So, excuse me. So the so they were talking, and so he said lore pets, and I'm like, okay, so I know what a pet is, I know what lore is. What's a lore pet? And now we're looking for Bentley Berkeley and the Shadow Seed as we go. He said, oh, these are the pets you get from the incarnate powers, right? So I guess after you do the incarnate trials, you get an extra power or an extra enhancement or whatever, and it gives you access to something like a pet, right? To something like summoning werewolves. And I said, oh. So I said, well, I don't know. I can't picture why Silver Phoenix would ever have such a thing. And they said, well, it's really good. Like, it helps. It's, you know, they serve as a damage sponge and, you know, basically as a meat shield. And so I was like, yeah, but in character, why would she have these things? She's a kung fu artist. And they said, well, you know, you kind of want to make up whatever story you want, but you want the pets because they're, like, really good to have in combat. Like, I don't know. I don't care as much about the effectiveness of the character as I do that it looks, acts, and plays the way I want it to play, right? And for this character, I don't really want her to have to summon a werewolf every time she has to beat an elite boss, right? Wow, these things are really tough. Like, just the way, the amount of time they hit me. He hit again. What was his chance? 6% chance. He hit me twice. He rolled a 3. Rolled an 87. And rolled a 3. He rolled a 3.23 and a 3.33. Unbelievable. So it's like, you might say, well, why don't you pop a loot? What do I need a loot for? He floored. He is a 6 to hit. All I can do is get him down to a 5. Even if I swallowed all those lucks, it would only get him from a 6 to a 5. He hit me with 3s. Doesn't matter if I have him floored. That's an automatic hit. Twice in 3 shots. He rolled less than 3. He rolled less than a 4. This is what I mean by it seeming like a low number begets another low number, and a high number begets another high number. Another Archon. Okay, this guy's going to also probably turn into a werewolf. So we got to be ready for that. And there he is again. Try to knock him over. That's good. They're pretty vulnerable to that. Knockback. Missed. Great. Try to knock him over again. Yeah, there we go. These guys just kill your endurance because you have to beat the boss twice in a row. And the second time, he's stronger than the first time. And I guess this is why they're saying you need a team. Not because there's an elite boss, because there's a whole series of bosses. Obviously as a scrapper, I don't need a team to defeat bosses, and I don't think most characters solo need a team to defeat +0 and +1 bosses. But I guess the developers thought maybe you would. I don't know. Yeah, so like I do things for my character, back to the talking about keeping things in character. Like I do things for my character that I think make conceptual sense for the concept that I have, for the character that I'm trying to build. I don't think having her running around with pets fits my concept. And so I would be not amenable to using them all the time. Now it may be that, you know, the Incarnate Trials are so hard that everybody needs a flesh shield, right? Everybody needs a meat shield. Maybe that's true, and if that's true, then obviously I would have to give in to reality and allow it. But even look at things like Crippling Axe Kick. I don't like it. I don't like the animation, so I don't have it. Now I'm giving up a superior damage attack. I'm sure a lot of people would say doing that is not optimal, but I want this character to be how I want it, and I don't like the Crippling Axe Kick animation. And that's important enough to me that I'm willing to forgo the extra DPS just to have my character only have animations that I like. It's all about what gives you pleasure in a game, I guess. What gives me pleasure in this game, in part, are certain of the animations, and the Crippling Axe Kick one isn't one of those. But I openly recognize that that's potentially harming my efficiency, my optimization, whatever you want to call it. I openly admit it, and I don't care. Because I enjoy, you know, certain aspects like the look of my character and the look of my character's powers, which I'm very picky about. Interesting. Dark Equinox Archon, so he's going to be really tough. We want to do as much damage as fast as possible to this guy as we can. And he's going to switch. Now we knock down. If we can, there we go. See if we can stun. We did. Knock back. There we go. That's what we want. He's rolling around on the ground. We'll let him stay there. Now we knock over. Oh, missed. I just mistimed that. So there's a period when they're getting up where they like cannot be re-knocked over. Look at that, hit me twice in a row with God knows what little chance to hit. He hit me twice in a row. Oh, he had a 22% chance, okay. So that's not quite so frustrating as when he had a 6%. Okay, we're gonna take this thing out. Where's Bentley anyway? Yeah, I don't know where Bentley Berkeley is. These guys like to hit. Let's go ahead and rest here. So you can see that even though I pushed it back down to +1, and it's not a super challenge, when it comes to these bosses, it actually is a bit difficult. And I guess it's because they're double bosses, basically, right? You fight one, you defeat it, and then then it like turns into another one after it's been defeated. So I guess they figure that'd be really hard for a lot of players to handle. So they recommend teams. Wow, another exit. How big is this thing? Wow, this is a huge map. And they've still got to do these two. And there's another boss. I feel like there was a way to stop them from turning into werewolves, but I don't remember what it is. Is it mezzing them? I'm not really sure. Yeah, there he goes again. There we go, and critical strike, so hopefully we'll get a crit in. No. Knock over. Kick back. We gotta watch out, there's another guy there. Yep, and he saw us. The main thing we don't want is his debuff. Double crits, that is nice. Wow, even more hallways? This place is huge. Did I hear a glowy? No. So we've done nothing. We haven't found Bentley Berkeley. We haven't found the Shadow Seed. Wow. We gotta be close to the bottom of this map. Sorry guys, I did not know this was such a long mission, or I would have probably done it in another episode. Ah, I missed him. Boy, these guys can take punishment. Look at this. Phew. And look at the size of this room. Alright, so that takes them out. There's more guys. see. Knockdown. That takes him out. And him. Alright, so now we go down. There's another guy. I love how several of the different inspirations, there are like 4 or 5 different sounds for them depending on which inspiration you down, which is really cool. Now this guy shouldn't turn into a werewolf because he's not a boss. More werewolves. And the Equinox Parasite. Knock him over. Wow. Look at this. How many kicks it took to just take him out? That's everything down here. Oh, I'm in the wrong place. Thought I was further up on the map. Come on. Yeah, I gotta go up here. There's somebody up, too. Oops. There we go. There's another guy, because I heard him. Further up. Whoops. Fell down. Come on. There we go. And now this way. I missed. I missed again. Guess I need super jump for this. Alright. There he is. Bentley Berkeley. Thanks for the rescue. It's getting pretty crazy down here. Now we just have to find the seed. I see something over there. Let's take these guys out first. Okay, so there's something there. There it is. Alright guys, this could be it. I don't know if something's going to come out or not. Let's see. Clue found. An inky black surface. Oh, we're done. Oh, there was no archvillain? That's really lame. Inky black surface of this hard dark sphere. It's cold to the touch. Difficult to hold for a long time. Okay. So, we head out. Oh, there was more of that map, wasn't there? Oh well. It was long enough. And we contact Colleen. And she gives us an enhancement. Now we're finding a bunch of enhancements. Look at that. And she says, the Council has suffered a major defeat, Silver Phoenix, and it was all thanks to you. I'll make sure the Shadow Seed gets to the data vaults. It's really amazing to think about all that we've learned so far, about Requiem's origins as Rodolfo Uzzano, about the Path of the Dark. There are still many questions, too. Is this Path of the Dark somehow related to the Nyctus? I'm sure you've noted the similarities between Requiem and Archon's powers. If I've learned one thing in this business, it's not to trust coincidences. But I guess that's a worry for another day. Right now, the entire city owes you a debt of thanks it may never be able to repay. You are truly a hero, Silver Phoenix. Okay, so we're done with her. And now we have a whole bunch of new contacts, like Tina McIntyre in Peregrine Island, and Madeline Casey in Founders Falls, and Janet Kellum in Founders Falls, and Indigo in Founders Falls. And so I think we're going to just start at the top. Next time, guys, we will go find Indigo, and we will ask her for a mission. In the meantime, I'm going to head on out. I'm going to sell these enhancements and sell some of the salvage. And we'll be back with more City of Heroes next time. Thanks for watching.